Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. This holiday season, so festive and everybody getting ready. What I'd like to do is ask everyone to please stand for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And if I could, I'd like to do a roll call around the room. Laura Inserto, Chair.
Sheila Tessie, Recording Secretary.
Jim Crazy. Marty Schwartz.
Carolyn Durkee. Gwen Palmer.
Suzanne Testani, Vice Chair.
Loretta J. Melinda Johnson. Brenda Steele.
Excellent. And let's all read our mission statement, if we could, quickly. The Human Services Commission shall be the policy-making body for the Department of Human Services. The Human Services Commission and the Human Services Department are responsible for services to elderly and disabled residents of Fairfield. The Commission studies community health services which cover all age and income groups, provides a public forum for citizen input, and makes recommendations to the Human Services Department and the First Selectman person. Okay. I'd like to ask for an approval of our minutes from our November meeting. Motion from Joe Crazy. Marty, seconded. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. So we have actually two items that we need to add to our agenda, thanks to our diligent secretary here, Sheila. We left off that we need to elect officers for next year. And also we need to review our meeting dates for 2023. So let's first talk about officers. Right now, obviously, I am the chair, Suzanne is the vice chair, and Joe is secretary. So we have two options. We can approve everybody as is, or we can have a discussion, and anybody who would like to step up, for instance, take the chair position is welcome to do that, the vice chair position or secretary. But we should have probably had a nominations discussion in our last meeting about that, which I neglect to say we did not. But we can have it now. Anybody want to nominate themselves to be chair of our commission for next year?
May I first ask if any of the three of you are looking to step down, or are you all interested in continuing?
I would be interested in continuing. I don't know about my fellow.
I would be.
Okay.
Okay, I would like to nominate everyone, I'm not sure how to say it, but to keep the board as is at this time.
Okay, so keep the position.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Marty seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Anyone opposed? Excellent. Yeah, we're a great team. We really work well together, and my term is up next November. So there would obviously be succession or discussion, but we will make sure that we put on the agenda for next year to have that conversation before. Maybe you have to make that decision.
November, not in June? Do we all renew in November, not June?
No, we have a rotating.
Mid-year, though?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. In fact, that's one of the things that I wanted to ask Sheila, to give us a new slate of members, on this directory that we all received from Sheila. Has your terms listed, what the end of your terms are. So Sheila will update this because now we have a new member, Gwen Palmer, and this is basically contact information and when your terms expire, as well as your affiliation to a party or non-affiliation. This is called the commission members as of January 2022. So Sheila will get the 2023 one ready for us in January, and we'll have copies, but I can also email it to you all when it's ready.
Are the terms 4 years more?
They are 3 with a renewal.
Okay.
1-term renewal, and then you step down.
Is it 4 years or 5?
3. I thought it was 3. Oh boy, hold on.
thought it was three.
I thought it was 3 too.
No, it's, that's.
The document would say it, right?
No.
Yes.
They're actually posted, I can look on the website.
Yeah, I don't know why you
No, I'm never gonna get started.
I know it's in the charter.
Yeah.
But who can remember? I thought it was 3, but Sheila's gonna check that for us right now.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I take it back, it is 4.
It is 4.
Like Loretta started, I'm sorry, I'm not just pointing you out just because you're number 1 on this list, but, so she started November 2020, so November 2024, your term is up, so that's 4 years, right?
But I filled in, is that when I started? Because I took over for Chris, and I
That's
filled
true.
the rest of her term, and I don't
Then
know
you
when,
start-
I had a reappointment, but I don't know how recent, was that
Then
1
you
or
start
2
a
years
new
ago?
term, and then you have a second term, so.
Right.
So
when
I've
you
already
fill-
started the second term.
Oh, so when you fill in for someone, like Gwen is filling in for Lori MacArthur. So she finishes Lori's term, and then
And
she
then you have
has
a
her
second.
4-year, and then another 4-year.
Correct, right.
Right.
What's my expiration?
So you can
No,
work
I
on
don't
this
think
for
so.
7 years.
But I can tell it's 3 years. What's my expiration? Joe, what's my
Okay.
I'm in for the
Joe
long
agrees.
run.
Well, you know, if you.
So 11/25, then it's a 4-year term.
Yeah, you're 11/20.
I think this is
Laura, am I
They
23?
Hold on,
No,
Suzanne, you are,
Oh, it just
I
keeps
went on
going?
19.
Yeah, if they.
where are you on my list?
Right.
Oh, there you are, 11/23.
Yeah,
So you're next November with me, but you are eligible for renewal, whereas I am not.
right.
Because I've already served my,
Oh, you're 8?
my 8.
8 years.
God, isn't that long? Do
God.
I look older?
No.
Wow, you knew me when I was young.
That's
You're
really
so easy. Anyway, so now we got that straight, it's 4 years, 4
And
years.
it'll also be posted on the town website under Human Services, Commission Members Listing, and it'll have all that information there as well.
Sheila.
So
Great.
right now, it's got the current information, once the elections go through, they'll update it, but give them a month.
Okay. Who does that updating?
Jen Carpenter or Jackie.
Okay. Yes, so Gwen got sworn in on the 28th. Congratulations, we're so happy to have you. Yeah. Okay, so the second item to update our agenda is our meeting dates. So right now, we meet the third Thursday of every month at 4 p.m. here. Is everyone satisfied with that timing? Anybody want to propose a different time? Okay. So then what we could do is vote on that for next year, provided there is no other major holiday that impacts, but I think it's only Thanksgiving. That's really the only one that usually, and we'll move it up. Same thing with this December timeframe, because Christmas usually falls, in that 4th week. We don't want to meet that 4th week.
Well,
It's the
does it-
4th Thursday of the month.
Does it state the appropriate meeting date on the website?
Does it
Human
state?
Services Commission? Yeah,
Yeah,
it does.
yeah.
Is it the 4th Thursday of the?
I said Thursday.
Yeah, no, I
The
just want to
fourth.
make sure.
Yeah, it's the 4th Thursday of every month unless there's a holiday.
Right, like,
Then it's the week before.
like that, right.
Mm-hmm. So everybody likes that time, 4 o'clock Thursday?
Yes.
All right, so can we have a vote to,
I move to
Can you
keep
still that?
the meeting on the 4th Thursday of the month, same time.
second?
I'll second that, Madam Chairman.
Excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Excellent. Pass. Thank you, Sheila. What would we do without Miss Sheila? She keeps us in line. Okay, so moving on to old business. Carolyn, can you please give us a report on the Board of Health?
Oh, boy.
Oh.
There is an update. New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut are finding the highest flu and/or the children's, I forget the R.
RSV.
I want to say RSVP.
Yeah. At this point. But the biggest thing that I'm concerned about for senior citizens is that UI and Eversource has come to the Board of Health and said because of the way the government is, how do I put this politely? Putting gas resources, there is a possibility in the town of Fairfield and in their area that we may have rolling so-called blackouts if there is an 8 to 10 cold snap. If you have an 8 to 10 cold
What do you
snap.
mean 8 to 10?
Yeah.
Oh, 8
Yeah.
degrees, 8 to 10
There
degrees.
could be a rolling, so I guess you would blackout for gas customers. It would only be 4 hours, and at this point in time,
Only be.
they don't know, how they would do it, but they just know that if there's a possibility that they could not handle gas service if there was an 8 to 10 cold
And
snap.
this is only in Connecticut.
New York,
Well-
New Jersey, Connecticut?
Sam didn't say.
They were just saying Fairfield?
He was saying Fairfield, Eversource UI has contacted Fairfield and said that if there is an 8 to 10 cold snap, which I'm not sure what the temperatures might be, but we've had those in the last 2 years, that there could be a gas shortage because if it's going to Europe, it's not to us.
Do you mean an 8-day to 10-day
A
call?
consecutive,
Okay.
yeah.
Right, so 8 to
Oh.
10 consecutive days of a certain cold temperature.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you don't know what the temperature is, how they define cold snap.
They didn't, he didn't say, but I thought it was important enough to tell you because
Generator.
there could be a lot of people in
The
there.
generator won't work,
Why?
it's gas.
Yeah, it's
We have
gas
one
issue.
Trumbull.
If it's a.
Well, that's where I'm confused. Eversource is for electricity?
But
Okay.
what he said was UI and Eversource,
Okay.
they are the two major providers.
Electrical providers, okay.
That,
Of electricity and.
right.
Because I get gas in my southern Connecticut.
Yeah, maybe more electricity than gas.
This is a blackout for gas, for
Maybe what he's
electricity.
saying is there's not enough gas to run the electric plant.
Yes, that could
Yeah,
be.
yeah. So it's probably electricity that they're talking about.
But this is what he told us, and this is just Monday night. I mean, UIL, everybody had their meetings this past week, I was like, going around. But I was concerned about that.
I would think it would be hard to cut back on the cold snap to eliminate gas, natural gas, because gas is heating a lot of the homes. You couldn't have
Mine.
yes, you couldn't have an AC cold snap.
Well, UI,
Yeah.
I wouldn't think would have,
And,
Southern Connecticut gas.
Right,
So
right, but they may
UI.
be, they're running their generators on natural gas, so that's talking electricity.
Yeah, it's very possible, but I thought that was important because,
Now, that was in your
I thought it
health
was in New
department
England, though.
meeting?
yes,
Okay.
Monday night.
So what was their reaction? I'm just curious. The health department.
Everybody just sort of like sat there like, what?
Really?
We're gonna have an issue?
But in the past, I thought I
Never.
heard it in New England this was gonna happen.
Pardon?
I thought I heard that in New England this could happen, in all of New England.
Well, that's, yeah,
This
that's
is the
Connecticut.
beginning of the fact that it could happen. I mean,
They
what
even
is-
talk it.
what are adjectives, everything, it may, it could, it might, that sort of thing. And so
I hear you, Ellen.
it's an up in the air kind of issue, that it's just, you never know. But at least it's a warning that,
So everybody needs to install fireplaces again. Stone fireplaces.
Don't have
right?
electricity.
I'm like, oh my goodness, they get maybe
but one of the realities is that
You can't just base figures because of the electric.
Yeah, right.
one of the realities is that we all know that we can do things in the summertime to help people for cooling places or whatever. But the issue came up, it's like, what do we do if people don't have heat.
Right.
And that's the big question mark that has to be.
Because you
addressed.
can't even send them to a shelter because the shelters would also have that issue.
There you go.
So it's a huge problem.
It can be.
And I hope people don't just slough it off because this is important.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that the Connecticut Post doesn't have
Right.
anything about this point.
Well, I don't think it's kind of like really
Public
open knowledge at this point
For
in
public
time.
consumption.
Who is a commission, who would we go hire up to for further explanation, would you say?
I have no idea.
I wonder.
We would have that, stand that and,
Probably
you
the
know,
Public
find out.
Utility
Yeah,
Control
right.
Authority.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Public Utilities Control, is that who you're saying, Sheila?
That's who I think it would have been. That's the regulatory agency that regulates utility companies.
Okay.
But see, this is kind of a thing that could happen or might not happen, so you don't want to get everybody all upset.
But on the other hand, it's better for them to be
But
prepared.
It's better
I
to-
think we
yeah.
need to know.
I mean, we're
that
in
they
the-
could,
We're in the start of winter right now.
Yes.
You could feel it.
and it's not really warm out today.
Right,
No,
that's
we're
what
about
I'm
to get
saying,
a
yeah.
rooster.
And yeah, it'll be worse from now on. you know,
Yeah,
so.
well, that's really important.
Yeah.
What are you hearing about COVID and all that?
They're not, they're just saying that, you know, it's still an issue,
Mm-hmm.
but no, it's New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, and it's still an issue. It's not really, too much in terms of hospitals except for the children.
Yeah,
And beyond that, they really haven't said.
yeah, there's a shortage, I guess, of, penicillin.
Oh, that,
For the
no,
kids.
that was not discussed.
Okay, yeah. Mary Ellen, you know anything about that?
Manufacturing it out of the country.
And Tylenol,
I'm not sure where it comes from, but
Baby.
there's a shortage.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby
And
food,
people
now
are also
penicillin.
masking a lot. I'm
Yeah.
noticing people are
Yeah,
wearing
baby
masks.
formula is still an issue.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had thought the COVID rate and the flu rate is very high.
Yeah, it is.
It's crazy.
They're almost on the same par. It's like if you're sick and you don't have
It's almost like
COVID,
it's
then you're
amazing.
diagnosed with the flu.
Right.
I don't think the cold exists anymore. Nobody says, you have a cold.
Somebody has a regular cold.
But, yeah.
actually, most hospitalizations that are ending up in ICU are flu cases right now.
Yeah, I know,
More than
yeah.
Combination of flu.
How do you just determine between a cold and the flu, Mary Ellen? You are a nurse. right?
I'm a nurse.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Flu is more body aches.
Oh, okay, then
Fever,
a cold.
cold, you really don't get a tense as much, and you don't have the body aches that go with it.
Okay.
Flu, you feel like you're hit by an Mack truck.
And
Uh,
RSV is upper respiratory, right?
Yeah, and they're seeing a big, I
Uptick.
still work at the hospital a little bit, that's why I know this, they're seeing a real uptick in adult RSV that they're not talking about.
Oh,
no,
And
we
Karen
haven't
Kate,
mentioned that.
You know, I'm not an expert, it's respiratory, something virus.
It's that coughing and, 'cause I've had it like for 5 weeks now, and I'm done with it.
Okay.
but you weren't diagnosed RSV.
No, there were no initials attached to it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I was like, kind of flat out for 5 weeks. I was on, what was it?
Prednisone.
Prednisone.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it really wiped me out. The coughing was awful.
There's you know, without going too much, there's a real issue with people as they age with bronchial reaction to the cold, and you don't tolerate it as well, and so you end up getting almost like a walking pneumonia with what you're describing.
Yeah, they said I was
And they treat it
supposed
with
to getting
prednisone,
it.
and they treat it with bronchodilators and things like that. I don't know what you had, but that's
They
very
asked,
common.
actually, they asked if I needed it.
Yeah.
So happy you're with them.
I know, it's just
I'm sorry,
No,
I
I just want to update you. There were 2 items that were left off of the agenda, and that was the election of officers, which it was unanimously voted upon that Joe, Suzanne, and I would continue in our position.
Thank you.
If you're okay. And then we agreed that we would meet again on the 4th Thursday of every month at 4 p.m. here in this room, unless there was a conflict with a holiday. So just to update you, Mary Ellen.
Thank you.
All right, Carolyn, anything else before we move on? No.
I have a question.
Yes.
Brenda, I was just curious, who sets the policy for wearing masks here in the center?
The town.
or
So
town
is
building.
the town
or
having a
town-
uniform policy, like, for example, I thought the people, I go to the rec center every day, and my feeling is they're very lax with requiring masks. Where I've gone to other parts of town, like Town Hall, it seemed like you have to wear a mask. This is during the height of the COVID thing, and so that's why I was just wondering if at the center, who would, I don't want to say dictate, but who would recommend, for example, that people come in the center wear masks? Does it come from the first select person's office? Does
Well,
it come from
we follow the town, we usually follow the town guidelines. If there was a reason that Julie, or I thought that it was important to have that policy, we could certainly mention that to them. We wouldn't.
Because I mean, I think the
but we
group
could-
that comes here perhaps may be a little bit more vulnerable perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, anyone can wear a mask at any time.
Yeah,
But
Well, I
nothing is
understand that, but
mandatory.
I'm just wondering, as a senior center, is there ever any independent thought about, maybe we should have people wear masks, even though you don't have to wear a
Not right
mask to
now.
go into,
The grocery store.
Not right now.
There isn't.
Nobody's
Not right
really,
now,
no.
not right now. There's not an uptick
Okay.
in town. There's no reason to. There's not, we'll follow Sam's guidance, what the town is doing. But right now, we haven't been told of a reason, no uptick in.
And not a
COVID
concern
cases.
more because there are more seniors here who are more vulnerable?
Not right now. I mean, not right now.
Okay, I mean, I just wondered, maybe there's
Yeah,
something
if
we should
we-
think
yeah.
about, that perhaps.
I will
we
tell
always
you,
have.
it's
I
the
mean, we always
seniors
have,
that
but-
need the masks the most. They wear them below their nose, they want no part of them, and it's like,
Yeah.
they'd all rather just
And then
get
if you're not
sick.
wearing the right ones,
Exactly. They're not
Yeah, I
gonna
mean, if there
work.
was a reason,
Yeah,
if Carolyn gave a big update, if there's a huge uptick in COVID, and,
Yeah.
perhaps we would, we'd talk about it, and of course, if it's
Okay.
what the town recommends, or other town buildings, or other towns in general in the Fairfield County area, if we're seeing it, we would, of course, discuss it, but,
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
and we could do it whether or not the other town buildings did or did not either, but we generally,
But right now, we just follow whatever the town generally recommends for all the town facilities.
yeah, and what's
Okay.
happening.
Yeah.
And what's happening with the illness,
Okay.
so.
So
I mean, I would
we have
imagine-
the flexibility if we felt, because seniors are more vulnerable and COVID is more spreadable.
Sure, we would
be
discuss,
able
of course, we would
to
discuss it, and,
Right.
sure,
right. We could initiate it, yeah, sure, yeah.
yeah.
You girls, do you have something you want to share? Okay.
Yes, Carolyn doesn't like me.
I told you.
That's what she shared.
Well, thank you, Carol, and that's a great report. We don't have anybody from the Friends here today, so we'll wait for next month for an update from them. Okay, so I asked Julie specifically, because it was such a large list of proposed speakers in our last meeting, how best to utilize our time, right? We all want to learn, we all want to, have knowledge of things that we don't really know a lot about, but there's some things that Julie feels, well, we all can also, as commission members, visit other commission meetings. Like, Carolyn, you said you were at several this week, right? How many commissions do you serve on? Or like, committees?
Not so many anymore, but, so McKinney Elder Housing
Okay.
and here.
Is that a committee or a commission?
That's a committee,
A
but
committee.
I run the place, if
Right,
you will,
right.
with the executive director.
Okay.
But I used to be on the Housing Authority, and I was on the RTM, but that's gone now.
Sure. Translate into which language?
So that is. Just wanted to wait this all out. So that's kind of what Julie was referring to, for instance. If anybody had an interest in learning more about the Housing Authority, you could say to Carolyn, gee, I'd like to attend one of your meetings to learn a little bit more about what the Housing Authority does. So her position was any commissions or committees that are resident in Fairfield, or maybe even outside, because you can see the list that I made, you can find out when their meetings are and go and partake in one or two and learn.
Maybe someone might like to come to one of our meetings in terms of Sullivan McKinney Elder Housing, because I'm not a flamboyant person. I don't like draw attention to things. But South McKinney has been going on since Jackie Durrell was in office, and I've been involved with it
Okay.
ever.
What is it?
And we're at the old Grassmere School, and we service really, really low income,
People or seniors?
low income seniors.
Okay.
There are a few that aren't really like seniors, but it's mostly for really seriously elderly people with almost no income,
And they live there?
and they live there.
And who feeds them?
Pardon me?
Who feeds them?
They
Feed
are pretty
themselves?
much, no, we don't, that's not part of our thing.
Okay, so they're capable of like cooking?
They have, most of the units are, studio apartments,
Okay.
and they do have a little kitchenette, and we have all the social services, we have, like to have the washer and dryer, for all of the people.
Laundry, yeah.
Community room, all of that, but they do their own cooking unless they have specific services, they come in for that.
Okay. How many are there?
Pardon me?
How many people are residents there?
We have I can never remember between the housing authority and the other how many, but we have at least over 30 units.
Oh, wow.
But they're all pretty much single apartments. And there's one or two bedrooms. Years ago, you used to have have a one bedroom, you have to have a husband and wife, but now that's all been taken care of. If you're lucky, you can get one bedroom. If you're not, you can get the studio. There's no so-called discrimination.
And my guess is there's a waiting list to get in there.
Seriously.
Yeah.
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 Really bad.
Right?
And I mean, we really have a nice place because the school, the part of the school that we have, there's a great big community room, and it's kind of like divided into little areas, not sectioned off, so to speak, where you can watch TV, you can read, you can do puzzles, sometimes the men get together and they play card games. That's the big fashionable corner over there, and I'm looking at it in my head, the room. And it works out, and they have all the other senior services. It's just that it's low income and it's very small, and and we try to, keep good neighbors in terms of the neighborhood. And it really, and if you go and you look, it looks, because I'm very prejudiced, it's very nice.
Do you know what the qualification level is?
It's 30% of your income, the Section 8.
Oh, so everyone is on Section 8?
Pretty much,
Okay.
of some sort.
So that means that they are on state aid?
Yes.
So nobody has any income, not even Social Security, or do they?
I can't.
They allow that, okay.
But whatever their income is, I mean, you could almost have no income,
Right.
and you can still get in if, when your time comes, so to speak. But it's very low income.
So is this something that you might say could be a focus for the Human Services Commission to look further into helping those that are on the waiting list, maybe find alternative? I mean, so like for instance, let's say there's 50 people on the waiting list. That's huge.
It is.
And how do we help them, right? As a town, as a commission, as human beings?
I'm not
This is the first time I'm ever hearing about this.
And it's not the
Yeah,
only
I'm
one,
not
there's
sure
several
you
of them
can
in town.
do that because of
There's others.
the rules and regulations to get into a place.
Well, it sounds to me though like we might even need more facilities like that.
Well,
That's what I'm saying, should we be lobbying for, right?
We
Yes.
certainly need more
But one
facilities.
of the
Yeah.
things we try to do,
Maybe it's a big issue.
see, the problem with Sullivan McKinney, it's run by a corporation, Elderly Housing Management.
Oh,
They were the last ones, like, oh yeah, okay, I can say I'm president, but I'm low wheel on them. Forget it.
mhm.
You know, I'm sorry?
Elderly Housing
Elderly
Management.
Housing Management Corporation.
Caroline, it's not HUD.
Yeah, well, it is and it isn't. That's the issue. And they, I can give you, I can't say it off the top of my head, I can give you the address and the people, et cetera, but I just can't do it off the top of my head. And they are the ones that run this. It started many years ago. You might remember Jackie Durrell. Of course. Okay. She says, of course.
I campaigned for her.
So did I. But anyway, she and Reverend Rush were the ones that started it. And it was, now I can't even come up with it now that I haven't thought of it. They made a corporation
Mhm.
and it grew.
Okay.
And so now Elderly Housing Management is the corporation that runs it. And so we would have to.
So is that a, local faction of financiers? I mean, who is Elderly Housing Management? Who are they?
It was a corporation of churches in the Hartford area. That's how it began. And now it's morphed into the Elderly Housing Management
So it's a
Corporation.
not-for-profit corporation, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps we can get someone to come in and talk about
I mean,
all
I
the senior
can-
housing in town.
I think
because
that would be
everybody has,
amazing.
because the Sullivan
Yeah, we
family
can
has
understand a
other.
little
If
bit.
I may, the senior advocates,
Yes, Fairfield Senior Advocates.
affordable elderly housing is a very big
Yeah.
issue with them.
Yeah.
That's part of their
Is that
age-friendly.
That's Herb, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's on the
I
list.
think he'd be the best person.
He's on the list, yeah, this
Yeah.
is.
Treasure
Because we have to be
Yeah.
careful
On all
with
of
this,
them.
because affordable housing, unfortunately, is,
Mm.
makes everybody tentacle on
Yep.
this.
Of course,
Right.
Mindy's
And it's been, for various reasons,
Well, you
some
know
people
what?
have misused this as a concept. So I think it'd be very helpful to have somebody
Yeah.
like her.
I can, you know, do more. I can come up with more next month if you want.
I would
I
like
just
to
can't
know
come
more.
up with the
Yeah,
names
that's
of
fine.
people
Yeah,
at
Yeah.
this
I mean,
moment. But
Maybe,
when you talk about the affordable housing, I got involved with this because when you look out in the backyard,
mhm.
40 units of affordable housing was going to be built in 1980. And that's when I got involved, because they said, no, we're not doing that. And we didn't, finally.
Mm.
It was, Eunice Postal, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Of course.
Yeah. And,
It's definitely a political hot potato.
And
Yes, it was.
Stuart McKinney, the congressman.
But there's a housing, there is a housing commission here in town.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Colleen Daly is on it, or what?
Housing Commission, I'm gonna put it on agencies and commissions. So everybody look at these lists, okay? Because I tried my best to capture everything we talked about last month. But
Yeah.
I would say, look, anybody have any questions about what's under as proposed speakers? Take a look at that now and let me know if I left anything off. If anything, other agencies and commissions below should be moved up. Because basically those agencies and commissions, people can go and learn about them because it's just too many. But I think you're right. I think we go after Fairfield Senior Advocates right away. Obviously, we want to hear from Ramon when he moves in, the veteran who's going to be resident down the hall. Suzanne?
I was just gonna say, I had mentioned, the Fairfield, public school system, have somebody come in and talk about. I made that suggestion at the last meeting.
Fairfield Public School.
Yeah,
Special- as in
maybe
like
one or
special
two,
ed?
Special ed, or
Rob Mancusi.
Mr.
She has
Tristani.
superintendent, so.
Yeah, well, that's, yeah.
The new superintendent, Michael Tristani.
Well, he's on the below list.
Oh, did I miss him? I'm sorry.
Look, superintendent, yeah.
Oh, is that what
But
you
I
mean?
don't know if Julie is in favor of that. Let me check that.
Okay.
Yeah, let me put a question
I
mark.
mean, certainly.
Now, I didn't understand CIT. Does anybody know what that is?
Yeah.
I wrote that down.
CIT is the Crisis Intervention Team with the police department.
Okay,
And what they do is they are trained, specially trained officers
right,
to respond if there's a person with a different behavioral health challenge on the spectrum, so that they're trained to de-escalate and recognize when a person is in crisis in a different kind, to respond in a
okay.
less aggressive way.
So I'm thinking then the new social worker for the police department might be able to speak to that, so we can kind of put it together.
They're gonna be, I don't know for sure, do you know? I mean, I think of them as a little bit separate.
They will be separate, but I mean, my understanding, however, she could definitely speak to that, I would think. 'cause
Yeah,
she'll probably
because
go
we are gonna invite her to come and
That would
speak
be
to us,
amazing.
so. Okay, good. And RIASAP Bridgeport.
It's RISAP, it's RY,
Oh,
RISAP.
and what is that?
Regional Youth Substance Abuse.
Another use, okay.
Yes, it's behavioral health substance abuse intervention services, prevention and intervention.
Okay. Oh, I spelled SWACA wrong too.
That would be a very helpful.
Yeah, Maria,
Would definitely be in
definitely.
there.
Yeah, sorry, guys. And, is there any social safety net 211? Who recommended that? It's not something that I'm familiar with, so I figured there's not a commission or a committee to go and sit at, but if there is, we could do it.
Well, it's 211, it's, InfoLine, it's the information network. So now if you want to make a referral to Operation Hope, everything has to go through, for a homeless shelter, everything has to go through 211. Everything
Oh.
goes through it's the, I want to talk more about it, but it's the clearinghouse for all things, everything in the state.
Where is it managed out of the state?
Rocky Hill? It might be Rocky Hill or Middletown, somewhere up there.
What do you think? Is it something we should want to know more about? Or it's getting in the weeds?
It's a lot, I mean,
Yeah.
it depends on what your interests and, kind of, it would depend on what your goals and interests are. Like,
Well, I guess does it impact the human services area for our town in a way that we would want to be more informed? To be able to set policy?
It's knowing, it's frustrating for me, I get very frustrated by 211, but at the same time, it is now our system. So
Yeah.
if you want information, if you want to get services, you got to channel through it. So understanding what it is, I think.
it's also an emergency line.
Oh, it's also, right, there's crisis intervention, there's everything, there's lot, it does, 211 does a lot.
Mm.
It's behavioral health, it's an emergency, crisis to crisis intervention. They have mobile crisis that will come out and assess and determine if someone needs to go to the hospital or not. They do great things. It's
Sounds
just,
good,
it's
yeah.
just a lot.
Do you have a contact there, Loretta?
No,
No.
not anymore.
Would you have a contact?
No, I
Maybe
mean, mobile
Julie does.
crisis we do, for sure.
Okay.
And, the CAN system runs through that, and that's like a coordinated access network for those who are on the brink of homelessness. You have to be really like 14 days from being evicted, or even if you have a couch to sleep on, that's not, you don't really.
Sufficient, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, that system runs through 211. It's so, kind of vast and opaque, at least in my experience. Would it be helpful? Maybe, and it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's an awareness. Like, if this conversation here is helpful and piquing interest, then I would say, yes, it would be
Mhm.
helpful. I feel like it could be overwhelming, but it's also, I think it's a good thing to be aware of, for everyone to be aware of.
Okay. Well, it looks like we have a lot. I mean, right now we've got at least 6 months worth. So does anyone want to add anything to the top? Because it's the top we're going to focus on to do our inviting. Is there anything below that you think should be moved up?
The housing.
Yeah, well, that's under Fairfield Senior Advocates. We're going to talk housing.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
maybe someone from the housing commission, because they really, when I try to call them for patients, they really, for elderly patients, basically it's a lot of cost, because the list is so long.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting to hear that, in a very politically correct way of saying it, and so I do think that that is an area that we are falling drastically short in this town. Because a lot of people are skating on the edge financially these years. They can't afford to stay in their homes. They're either because they're not ambulatory or they can't afford the taxes. So, I think senior housing, affordable senior housing, taking out all the other affordable things and to focus truly on our seniors in this town who built this town, I think it would be a very noble cause.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, we'll ask Herb first to come, give us the depth and breadth of what they are informed about and of, and then ask them if there's somebody else they suggest we speak with. I don't know.
It could be the Fairfield actual commission.
That's what she's saying, yeah.
Fairfield
Yeah.
Senior Advocates is a separate.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're doing that whole aging program, which is phenomenal too.
Well, that'll be,
Yeah, we'll start with
the
her.
bigger one, that will be.
I just
With
wonder,
your help.
if working for the senior center, is there any group that is formed where you ask your, the seniors, are you having issues paying your bills? What type of help do you need? Where are you at in your household expenses?
Well, we can't really, that's kind of direct, through social services, and through a variety of different ways. We don't directly ask.
Well,
that
without
way, but we
asking,
have
is there like,
programs. Yes,
do they know that they have a place to go to?
They
They
do.
talk about it.
They
Oh,
do,
oh,
yeah.
good.
Even through our newsletter, you'll see in our social services section, there's a lot there.
Yeah.
And, we just hope that people, read that. It's distributed, we've distributed
Well, the
over 4,000
problem
copies.
is you have 8,000 seniors in Fairfield, and you have 2,800 members, right? Or 3,000,
6,000.
6,000 members of this, but only 2,800 come?
It's probably on a regular basis, but
Oh.
that doesn't, mean
Okay.
I'm not
Well,
seeing
6,000 is
it,
a good
so.
turnout.
But yes, to answer your question, we do, but we can't be so direct, because that's,
Oh, right,
so,
Yeah, I get
there's
that.
different programs that we offer,
Yeah.
and through all the programs that the social services department and social workers offer,
Yeah.
we do, so, if there's a senior advocates here, we have other people coming to see,
Yeah.
and so,
Yeah.
tax relief, and they, social services
Yeah.
finds out a lot about through, when they help individuals through energy assistance or.
I did
gift
see
card
one of those
programs.
condo apartments at Grasmere. I know someone who's there. She used to go to St. Anthony's, yeah. And, she fixed it up so cute, her big room, and she separated. She figured out a way to separate and divide her It's bedroom. amazing what these It really is.
Like a dorm room.
Yeah.
You know, it's a dorm room, the kids are hanging out up above and they're living below the bed.
Well, she really did a
Yeah,
great
that's
job
good.
at figuring it out.
The only thing I don't like about the place, if I had to live there, is that it's a schoolroom, and the windows are just not,
Yeah.
they're
It's
very
very hard for them to open and close, yeah.
They don't open and close either.
Well, we redid the whole thing, so now each apartment has its own air conditioner, and, things like that. But I used to think, because if you sit down in a chair, you can't look out the window. Maybe look up. What
And also the
is it?
windows are very high.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
very, very difficult
And
to.
they're like
Yeah.
on waist or
Yeah.
whatever level,
Yeah,
just
they're
like
up there.
that, and you can't always,
Thank God they have roofs over their heads.
They're very, very,
Yeah.
very cute.
Amen.
They really are.
Yeah.
We redid the whole thing.
Yeah.
All right, so,
What age is somebody considered a senior? I know you've told me this. Is it
50.
65?
In Fairfield, it's 50.
And we're
Okay.
the largest population in the town, so it's
If I can, I think there's a big disparity, because between 50 and 65,
yeah,
that group is a lot different
yeah.
than 65 to, And
We've talked about that.
so we're using the AARP definition of senior for age 50.
Mhm.
Okay. I mean, what I'm saying is
know.
that a lot of people who are 50 years old don't have the
I
same
mean,
issue
yeah,
as somebody who's 75 years old.
That's right.
I don't think they consider themselves.
No, they don't.
No.
Well, that's right, and that's another thing too.
Yeah.
Well, that's always been the problem with the naming of what this is,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah.
Is it fair to a 50-year-old say, come to the senior center?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, get away from yourself.
My mother didn't even want to go to the senior center at 85. So, you know what, it's a problem.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to discuss the white elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Which is why are people called
Yeah.
seniors?
They think it's
Yeah,
But
but
also, it's the
that's
kind of
something for a
program-
retreat, y'all.
I think it would,
Yeah.
because I think it gets into programs that you all.
It does.
Because if you're trying to encourage people who are between 50 and 65 to come to a senior center like
Right.
this, they ain't gonna come.
No, it's not gonna happen.
No.
This is a huge problem for you, Brenda.
But I mean.
I mean, not really, I don't.
You're the
it's not-
senior,
I don't-
you're the director.
Yeah, I don't,
This
it's
is
not
a
really a
discussion
problem.
for
I
a
don't know what
retreat
it
or
is.
something, you're right, Laura.
Yeah,
I mean, but
no,
I think just
Yeah.
myself, I
Yeah.
think characterizing a 50-year-old as a senior, I think is.
Yeah.
Especially now that people are living many, many years past what they
And
were.
more people.
The life
Yeah,
expectancy, yeah.
It's hard to even imagine.
We're not really
Kids
trying to
are
get.
seniors.
Right.
That's the thing, is that we're not attracting us, right? So that's not who your target audience is, even though we fall under the umbrella.
Loretta had a question, and then we'll come to you. Yeah.
I just, as we're talking about different topics, I just wanted to loop back to when we talked about the Youth Service Bureau, and when we had Anthony come and speak, he wasn't able to speak a lot because things were on the table.
Yeah,
Nothing really changed.
right.
So just to sort of wanted to loop back to everybody, since we never really got to talk about that, even though he came, he didn't share. And we sort of left it hanging in terms of how we want to handle youth services, if this is something that we as a group want to revisit.
Well, they decided it's gonna stay in Parks and Rec, right? That was the decision.
Was that a decision? Because I didn't hear it as a decision. All that I heard was that the social worker was, did you get anything official?
Yeah,
I did
that it was gonna stay in Parks and Rec.
As
Yeah.
a decision?
Mhm.
How was that shared? Because I missed it.
Last meeting, Julie brought it up.
But she said that was the decision?
Yep.
I missed
Yeah,
No, I
that
missed it too.
takeaway.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't get that takeaway.
Maybe,
What I got from
It might
it
be in our
was,
minutes,
Yeah,
actually.
maybe, I'm sorry,
But
I missed it as well.
Probably.
Yeah, we can re-clarify that,
yeah,
so.
looking,
Yeah.
Because I thought it was still being discussed, that's why.
I'm, right, and I didn't get it
Well,
as
there
a
was
decision.
something still in the air that she couldn't discuss, but she said that
That
it was
was a
gonna
couple
remain
of,
in
that was a
Parks
couple
and
of
Rec.
meetings ago,
Yeah.
when she couldn't discuss it, and since that time, that was the social worker that was appointed,
Mm-hmm. For the
who,
police department.
who was for the police department, and also going to be in part of, remember when, Officer Leach, was speaking regarding the juvenile review board, that social worker will also take on that responsibility.
Mhm.
So, and will be the go-between, my understanding, I haven't seen anything formal, but the go-between between the youth services and the juvenile review board, because JRB is supposed to be underneath youth services, so there's like the social worker is going to carry this over.
Right.
But I didn't get a takeaway that it was settled as a decision. I just sort of got it as,
I got that.
You did.
But let's
Okay.
ask her when she's here in January, because, it is on the list. Right?
that it was on the list. No, it's not on the list, because,
Because we already heard from
and
her.
then,
Yeah.
is this, I mean, the thing is that it's on the list. If this is a decision, then our commission didn't have any say. Was
No.
not given the opportunity to have a say, and this is something that we want to continue to talk about.
Let's table it for next month.
Right, I'm not saying to make a
Yeah.
decision, I'm just putting
Right.
it out there as we're talking about
No, I
both speakers.
understand.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should definitely discuss it. We'll put it on the agenda, definitely. I just don't want to speak for Julie because she's not here. And thank you, Brenda, for filling in. Have you all noticed Julie's on vacation? So Brenda kindly took over this day. So,
that's the scary part.
we do want your department update. I just want to make one mention and publicly thank Suzanne Testani for organizing those lovely baskets that we watched on the front door.
Thank you for all your donations, everybody, they're all in there.
Yes, everybody who donated, thank you. I just took this off the board outside, but the Bigelow Basket Raffle is on December 20th, which is a week, or actually today's Thursday, I'm thinking it's Tuesday. It's this coming Tuesday at 12:30. So anybody that would like to come, it's fun.
Okay.
And you can take the raffle.
Mm-hmm.
It starts at 12:30.
Can I have one of those letters?
Well, I took it off of there.
Okay, great.
In the newsletter.
Take a picture with your phone.
In the newsletter.
Save the paper. So thank you, Suzanne, that
You're
was
more
a great
than welcome, and
effort.
everybody had such nice donations.
And I appreciate all that you
And it
put
was
into
fun.
that.
It was fun.
Thank you.
A lot of fun.
And
We
Brenda
had two
did.
baskets, more beautiful.
I know, you sent pictures, lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, on to department updates.
Okay, I'll start and then we can go around. Yeah, well, thank you, yes, for the basket donation. They were beautiful. Thank you, Suzanne, for all that you did to coordinate it. Everyone coordinated and put them together. They're absolutely beautiful.
The whole thing looks very
We are so
beautiful.
appreciative. It's a wonderful basket raffle this year, and you're donating all dirt from the original Yankee Stadium, which
Nice.
thank you very much for adding that as well. Yeah, it's got some tickets too. So we're really excited about the basket raffle. It's a really great one this year, and all funds raised will go to the Bigelow Center for Programming and Events, so we're excited about that. And as Laura said, Tuesday, December 20th is the basket raffle. We're hoping Cindy Bigelow will be here. She usually does the raffle for us, picks the raffle, and it's always a good event. And we have entertainment in honor of one of our members that passed this year. So we have, it'll be a really nice afternoon. Other than that, everything
And
continues.
does lunch come with that?
Not this time.
No. So
Not
you
this
should
time.
bring your own at 12:30 if you're gonna be hungry. Okay.
Yeah,
Just
well,
checking.
just enjoy our cookies and punch that we'll have.
Cookies and punch,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Fine. Great.
Other than that, everything's, going well. We've had we think a wonderful year. We've had over 550 new members this year, alone, and, had a lot of really good programs. We hope to add some new, programs again, next year, possibly some new classes, so
Good.
all is going well. Yeah, good. Yeah. Question?
So social services department, we're super busy right now between the energy assistance season. I can't remember if I mentioned last meeting, but the benefits, the award amounts this year are much, much lower, almost like half of what they were the year before. So with all the COVID money that was sort of being distributed in various ways, through energy assistance, rental assistance, all that, it's no longer available. So, so we're doing a lot of applications, and unfortunately the awards are pretty minimal. The maximum award this year is $600 that's the basic benefit.
And how do you qualify? You have to be a certain income range?
There are guidelines, and I can't remember exactly what it is, maybe like 75% of poverty.
I mean, according to people, they're saying their 1 month bill is $600.
I've had one client who applied, the oil delivery was $1,300 and they weren't eligible. I mean, they were $150 over income. So.
Nothing more in regard to the fact that electric rates are up so
Oh,
much
no,
higher?
those are increasing by 50%, I
In
believe, in
January?
January.
Yeah.
Operation, actually, the other, this is relatively recent news, there's another program called Operation Fuel. That award, though, is going up. So where they had only granted $500 last year per season, they're granting $1,000 if you're eligible, and you can access that twice a year, whereas it was only once each season, which effectively is twice a year instead of just once. So that's actually good news.
And would that cover electricity?
Yeah, it primarily covers that, though. this is another opaque system. It's not exactly clear, but it can cover under other bills under certain circumstances, but don't ask me to explain it to you. We just basically will process the energy applications, and then for some people, Operation Fuel applications as well. People can do them themselves, but a lot of people with whom we work, they're either not computer savvy, or because the system is not user-friendly, particularly energy assistance, we will help them and sort of shepherd the applications through. So that's really busy right now. And then the holiday gift card distribution, you know, we're in the thick of it. And there are a lot of people, you know, asking for assistance. And so that's, you know, pretty time consuming, because some of the people who come to us just for programs like back to school or the holiday giving program, you know, really try to screen people at least once a year. So, you know, a lot of the people that we only see, you know, somewhat infrequently, we then need to do a whole new intake with them. So I'm pretty busy with that.
Linda, go ahead. I was just curious, when, say, UI or any of the utilities file for rate increases, as I was just saying, is there a central or statewide organization that represents seniors and special needs folks contesting the rate increase? About years ago, I used to do this at my job. Mm-hmm. And I know that there used to be, especially in the state of Connecticut, there used to be groups that would represent the interests of seniors and special needs folks, low-income people, contesting rate increases. And I was just curious if that organization is still around now. Have you heard of anything like that? Or maybe this is going back a number of years ago.
Yeah,
So
I mean, not specifically. I mean, there are plenty of advocacy groups, you know, for those with disabilities, or, you know, like various demographics, but I don't know the group that you're referring to, that particular advocacy group. I could do some research. I mean,
okay, I was just curious because I know they used to be very active, and so that then, for example, not only electricity used to apply to things like telephone rates.
Yeah.
So it goes through the whole thing, and that's why I was just curious if these groups were still around, because they were very active years ago.
You said it was for seniors and low?
It was for low-income seniors and for special needs folks.
Okay.
And it was specifically contesting, was a 50% increase in rates.
Like lobbying.
Just brought, you know, when they go and file before the commission, and they would contest the need for the people who have special treatment for these groups, almost like across-the-board relief from paying higher rates for basic utilities. And that's why I was just wondering.
Well, if there is such a group, our residents aren't accessing it, and I mean, the alacrity with which, you know, shut-off notices are thrown out, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, I mean, I do worry that probably not everybody is recognizing the increase in their electric bill that they're going to receive in January. I think once that hits them, they're going to be very surprised about it. But yet, there doesn't seem to be enough awareness and proactive activity to try to deal with this.
Counterpunch it.
Yeah.
What is the increase, you know?
It's a considerable increase there.
It's like 60%.
Yeah, that's what I had heard. Yeah.
50%?
Yeah.
It was, but
Not on the delivery, but on the actual generation.
I don't think it's been approved at the moment. I may be wrong, but I thought it was.
Right, I mean, that's what
I
I
think it
heard.
was a filing they put.
Well, I heard though, they said there wasn't much of a recourse in terms of not approving it.
Okay, well, maybe.
So, you know, that remains to be seen, but nevertheless, getting it to January very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
What a thought, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's horrible.
That's insane.
It's because of the world energy crisis.
Yeah.
That would have been back to account.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So that's an issue, and maybe that's something we want to learn more about, too.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's gonna be a real issue for low-income seniors. And it's gonna impact them, they're gonna get this bill and say, what do I do with it? If in fact this goes through. And again, we don't have a lot of time before
Right.
it's gonna happen. The other thing I was thinking about, not really related, but somewhat related, for those people that now would qualify for Medicaid, I know the application is rather cumbersome. Is there any group or individuals that could assist seniors that would be applying for Medicaid?
We have that
You
was,
do have that,
yeah, we already had, we had
Here?
that. Mm-hmm, here.
Are you thinking Medicare?
No,
You're
Medicaid.
talking Medicaid. This is-
Medicaid.
Yeah, Title 19.
But
Right.
Susan does Medicaid.
Yeah,
She helps
okay.
with
So we have
Yeah,
some,
yeah, open enrollment just closed.
Right.
Yeah,
But
that's for
Medicare.
Medicare.
Right.
That's
I wish
Medicaid,
they
low
didn't
income.
name them.
Yeah, I know.
The way they did.
Yeah.
I know.
It's
But
so
we
confusing.
have Susan, we have someone here who.
That could assist
does-
seniors that are
Mhm.
applying for Medicaid.
Mhm.
Because it's
Yeah,
a rather
she does a
complex
lot.
application.
It's a 3-month
Yeah,
process.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you work with SWACA then in doing that, or in
Yes.
making the
I
application,
mean,
so you are?
well, SWACA does their, I mean, we
Yeah, yeah.
advertise SWACA, but Susan Tracy works on her
Right.
She's a
own.
choices
She's,
volunteer.
yeah, she's a volunteer.
Good.
I mean, so I don't know if she's involved with SWACA, but we work with SWACA.
Well, we're
And
gonna
advise-
we're gonna have Marie Allen, so they can speak to it.
Right.
That will be helpful, to understand it. Yeah.
Doing their,
Do we have any changes
enrollment.
in
Yeah.
your department that are coming up? Anybody leaving or any openings? Because I do know a social worker looking for part-time. You don't know?
not
Okay.
right now.
I'll check with Julie on that. New year always brings new things. Anybody else have any comments, questions? Thank you so much for attending. You're gonna come to all meetings, right?
Yeah.
Great. All right, we good? Can I ask for a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Merry Christmas, everybody.